This first video is on arithmetic sequences. Number 1, I asked you to find the common difference and the 15th term of the sequence 2, 6, 10. The common difference you find by taking any term in the sequence, subtracting the previous term, so 6 minus 2 is 4, 10 minus 6 is 4. So your common difference was 4. And then to find the 15th term, you could have continued out and wrote out to the 15th term, or you could have and continued on. This was the first term, second term, third term. You could have kept going and found the 15th term that way. Some people did it that way. Or you could have wrote the explicit formula for this, which is that the nth term of an arithmetic sequence is equal to a1 plus the common difference times n minus 1. So this is going to be equal to a1 is 2 plus the common difference is 4 times n minus 1. So that's going to be 2 plus 4n minus 4 when you distribute the 4 to both terms. And when you simplify that, that's going to be 4n minus 2. And so if that's the nth term, well, if I need to find the 15th term, then you take 4 times 15 minus 2, and that's going to be 60 minus 2, which is 58. But it works just as well to write out to the 15th term, so that's 58 there. On number 2, we had a ball rolls down the hill. We said at 1. This one was a little confusing because it sounded like that 7 was a sum of the total distance. But I told you to go ahead and treat it as a sequence, so it was at 4. At 1 second, at 2 seconds it was at 7, at 3 seconds it was at 10. So it had a common difference of 7 minus 4 would be 3, 10 minus 7 would be 3. So you take any term in the sequence, subtract the previous term. Remember, that's the formula for to find the common difference. And so the common difference is 3. And then if you needed to find the how far does it travel in 7 seconds? So most people just continue to write out to 7 and add 3 each time, and you could have found out that it was, if you added 3 each time at 7 seconds, it should have been at 22 centimeters. Again, though, you could have wrote the explicit formula like I did above in the previous problem and found the 7th term by substituting once you found the explicit formula. So the explicit formula would have been A1 was 4 plus the common difference. I'm using the above formula from number 1 that I wrote down. The common difference was 3 times n minus 1, and so that distribute the 3. That would be 4 plus 3n minus 3, and that's 3n plus 1 for the nth term. Well, when you substitute in 7 seconds, 3 times 7 is 21 plus 1 is 22 centimeters. All right, if we continue on to the next slide, we're going to have, if I can change it over. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and erase this. So problem number 3 was, in the arithmetic sequence part, was how far does the ball in number 2 travel in the nth second? I was asking for the explicit formula, so that formula that I just did in the last problem, that was actually the answer to number 3, which was 3n. So we said the common difference was, so we had the nth term equals a1 was 4, and then plus we had common difference was 3 and n minus 1. So we distributed, remember, so that was 4 plus 3n minus 3, and that's the nth term is equal to 3n plus 1. That's the explicit formula for an arithmetic sequence. And number 4, find the sum of the first 20 terms in the sequence 4, 2, 0. Some people just wrote out that was the 3, and they went all the way to 20, and then they added all the numbers together, and they did get the correct answer, which was negative 300 was the sum. The sum of 20, the answer was negative 300 when you did that. Or you could have applied the formula for the sum of an arithmetic sequence, which tells you to, the problem with that, you didn't have the last term. You didn't have the last term in the sequence, which would have been the term in the 20th number in the sequence. So you had to find that first, so you have to find the explicit formula. So the common difference is 2 minus 4 is negative 2. 0 minus 2 is negative 2, so you can see that the common difference is negative 2. You can find the explicit formula with a1, which is 4, plus the common difference is negative 2 times n minus 1, and that's going to be distributed, so 4 minus 2n plus 2 when you negative times a negative, so that is equal to negative 2. So you have negative 2 n and then plus 6. And so when you substitute in the 20th term would have been, it might have been easier to write out to the 20th term and add all those together, but the 20th term would have been, if you substitute 20 in for n, that's going to be negative 40 plus 6, which is negative 34. Well, now you have the last term, so remember the sum of the sequence is found by adding the first and last term, finding the average of those. Finding the average of those, which is dividing by 2, and then multiplying by the number in the sequence, which was 20. So our first term, if we apply that formula, the first term was 4, plus the last term that I found was negative 34. To find the average of that by dividing by 2, and then multiplying times the 20, the number in the sequence, and that's going to how you find the sum of an arithmetic sequence. So that's going to be 4 plus negative 34 is negative 30, divided by 2 is negative 15, and then times 20, and you still get that your answer is negative 300 like we had before. And then we had number 5 was the last one in the arithmetic sequence part, which was write the recursive formula for the sequence 1/2, 2/3, and 5/6. And so you had to find the common difference. Well, if you take 2/3 minus 1/2, you need a common denominator, so that's going to be, and you could do that in the calculator if you wanted to, but that's 4/6 minus 3/6. And if you tried it again, it would be 1/6. If you took 5/6 minus 2/3, you'll also get 1/6 if you get a common denominator. So if my common difference is 1/6, what is my recursive formula? Remember, there's two statements to a recursive formula. The first one is what is the first term, which is 1/2. And then the nth term is stated by saying the previous term, a subscript n minus 1, and then it's an increasing function, so you're adding 1/6 each time. So that's the end of arithmetic sequences.